Open Adoption and Family Services. Adoptee Voices, real people, stories, and choices. Says adoptee Cameron, I've always known I was adopted. It's become a sense of pride.
Hi, I'm Cameron. I'm 16.
How significant is adoption in your life?
I've known my whole life that I was adopted, open adoption, and my birth parents have played a really big role in my life. Being adopted is part of who I am, and I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to still be in contact, have a really good relationship with all my parents.
Describe your adoptive family.
In my adoptive family, I have my mom, Allison, and my dad, Mace. I love them so much. They are literally the coolest people ever, and we are really close. I've always known that I was adopted, and I think as I've gotten older, it's become a sense of pride. And just because in movies they always show, they're like, oh, you're adopted, but I think it's really cool to know that you have people who chose you and picked you and love you even though they're you're not their kid.
Tell us about your extended family.
I have all my cousins and grandparents who I'm not related to by blood, but I think I'm related to them just because I've always just felt like that, and I know they feel like that too. It's never been a point in my relationships with any of these people, and I think they're all really cool and sweet.
How do you spend time with your adoptive family?
We go on backpacking trips and we visit the grandparents and have a ton of fun together. When we visit my cousins stuff, we'll also go outside because we're really into the outdoors and hiking and going to the beach and stuff.
What traits do you see in your adoptive parents that you value?
Both my adoptive parents are incredibly loving and kind and hilarious and hard workers, and I try to do that too. One of the things that I see in my adoptive parents is how they work every day to be good people and make sure that's modeled for me. One thing that's really interesting in my relationship with my adoptive parents as well as my biological parents is that I'm a different, partially a different race and ethnicity from them. My birth dad is Native American, so I'm mixed, and my adoptive parents are white too. And I've grown up in a white culture, but my adoptive parents and my birth dad, as well as my birth mom, have also really made an effort to make sure that I stay connected to the Native American side of me, which I really appreciate, because now that as I've grown up, I've started having more and more questions about what it means to be mixed, and they've really pulled through with that, and I'm so lucky to be able to talk to them, all my parents, and especially my birth dad.
How do you spend time with your birth parents?
We go to a pow-wow every Father's Day in June. My adoptive dad and my biological dad and I will go to it, and we'll see the dancing and eat fry bread and get to look at all the vendors. One thing that has happened from being Native and white is that some people will ask me if my adoptive parents are my parents, and I'll say yeah. Some people think I'm just really tan, and then others will try to connect the similarities in how we look. We get a lot of oh, you look so much like your dad when I'm with my adoptive parents, which obviously we're not related, but I think it's kind of funny because people try to connect those, we both have dark hair and people try to connect that, but it's so far off.
How do you feel about having an open versus closed adoption?
One of the things I like about my open adoption is that I can know more aspects of who I am. I feel like if I had a closed adoption, I wouldn't be able to know why my skin is different from my parents, or why my hair's a lot thicker. And I think I can feel more connected and like I feel like I know about who I am and like my identity, and just having that stability for where I come from is just so much more helpful.
What do you want your friends, peers, and the world to know about open adoption?
One thing I'd like people to know about adoption, closed or open, is that I don't think it's a bad thing. There's like a lot of stigma around it. If you look at TV shows and media, everyone's always talking about like how bad it is to be adopted, or that like your parents didn't want you. But I don't think it's like that. I'm so glad that I was adopted, because my biological parents weren't in a stable position to raise me. They just weren't ready to raise a kid, and so they gave my adoptive parents, who couldn't have a kid, the chance to be able to have one. Basically, I think adoption is really cool and not a bad thing. My open adoption is easily being the best thing that's ever happened to me, because I've been able to know my mom and my dad and all my cousins and have so many opportunities. It's amazing, and I love it a lot. Thank you.
Thanks, Cameron. Open Adoption and Family Services. Adoptee Voices. Real people, stories, and choices. Produced by Open Adoption and Family Services. Connect with us at 1-800-772-1115 or go to openadopt.org.